Hey everyone. So I'm here representing BigCommerce, and I've got a couple of compatriots in the room. So I've got Topher DeRosa. He's I butchered your last name, didn't I?
That's right.
Yeah. He's our WordPress developer evangelist, and Karen White, who's one of our developer advocates, and Jason Flagg, who I don't even know what your title is. You work with partners, you work with developers, you work with sales, so all the above. So can I get kind of a read of the room? How many of you are like marketing agencies or, yeah, cool. A few of you. How many of you work in WordPress or use WordPress or recommend WordPress? And how many of you are e-com? Cool, so pretty good mix. And then just makeup of like technical versus non-technical. Raise your hand if you're somewhat technical. Somewhat. Okay. Well, I'll preface all this by saying that I'm actually technically in the marketing side, but I can swing one way or the other depending on conversation. So, brief history of just commerce platforms. Go back 20 years, and it was novel for a business to be able to get online and just have a website, right? That's table stakes now. 10 years ago, it was really cool if you could transact and sell and do that securely and start generating orders online. And now in 2018, it's actually pretty table stakes to be able to have a website, sell something, accept money, ship an order, and do it really effectively. And so that's kind of the evolution that we've had. So way back when, you were tied to the monolithic beast. So new features required the entire platform to be updated and built. Where we're at right now, or we were at, is kind of the commerce-led approach. So, go back 10 years when we started and a little bit before, that's when SaaS started becoming a thing where we're gonna host everything related to commerce, cart, checkout, catalog, orders, fulfillment, anything that you need. And with that commerce-led approach, we were attracting retailers, we were attracting B2B customers, kind of the gamut of anyone who wants to sell online. But recently, and where everything's going, if all things are equal, you now have to differentiate online. You have to brand yourself. You have to have an experience that people want to engage with from a content perspective, and the ability to shop to without having a redirect through 3 affiliates to get to Amazon, and then you lost that traffic, you lost that visitor. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I pitched the idea of, hey, what if we did something crazy? What if we got rid of our storefront, which, if you are a BigCommerce customer, manage everything in the background, we create a presentation layer for you. What if we remove that and let you use whatever you wanted on the front end? And this was the time that I started going to some really interesting events. The one that really hit for me was, it was a conference for like Box of the Month clubs. And there were probably 500 vendors there, and they all start on WordPress. And at some point, once they start getting about, I don't know, maybe 2,000 orders they have to process a month, and doing 500,000 in annual revenue or greater, that's when the horror stories started. I have to take my site down on the weekend so I can batch process these 2,000 Box of the Month payments and orders. Or I just got hit because somebody posted about me in, I don't know, BuzzFeed. And now site traffic's fine, but people trying to buy anything is horrendous. So I actually didn't realize that there was so much latent pain in the WordPress community from how do you keep scaling on WordPress? Because we all know WordPress, it runs TechCrunch, New York Times, BBC, you name it. But I didn't realize that commerce didn't scale. And so that's kind of what we started with. So BigCommerce, always been known as the SaaS, everything in the box platform, plug-in related commerce functionality to the back end. We've now taken everything that is our platform and started building APIs for it. APIs, webhooks, and looking into 2019, GraphQL. So we want to make it so that developers and agencies and users can say, you know what, I really like WordPress. Maybe you were a content site first and now you're getting a couple 100,000 hits a week right now and you're trying to add commerce. It's tough to do at scale. So what we came up with is this commerce as a service idea. So we're going to take the core competencies that we do as a business really well at scale and deliver it where everybody might want to shop. So if that's a mobile app, if that's a kiosk at the mall, if that's touchscreen in the back of a taxi cab, you don't have to worry for us to build that feature first because we specialize in commerce. We don't know what the next big thing's going to be that's going to make or break your business, but we don't want to limit that too. So where we're going now is a very API-driven future. So rather than looking to a single tool or platform to be everything that you need to run your entire business, or for clients that you teach this to, it's now a hub, or it could be a spoke, or it could be the silent glue that kind of holds everything together in the background. It doesn't matter. We have this opinion now that we've solved for what commerce at scale looks like, whether that's your primary business, secondary, or just part of your enterprise operations. So commerce as a service kind of has two tracks. Where we're at right now is the headless commerce, meaning we're letting you use whatever front end you want to build whatever experiences your brand needs. I have hosting providers under here too because, well, we're obviously here with WP Engine, and something like a WordPress plugin actually works quite well, especially when it's been battle tested in their environment, and they don't want to run into issues with people at the upper end running out of runway for their commerce needs. They shouldn't. WordPress is highly performant, and it should continue to scale. And then looking to the future, as we keep opening up more and more of our platform, the options are kind of out there for, like, the example I like to use is, like, there's a company called Mindbody, which is a SaaS software company for like reservations and massage bookings and things like that. Somebody like that could take all of these APIs and they could actually say, you know what, we don't want to deal with commerce, the complexities of payments, the risk of PCI compliance, the hosting, everything. We just want to offload that to something that works in a programmatic way, and they could start embedding us into those things. So that's really far up market. So that kind of led us to where we're at with WordPress right now is, what else do we need to fill in to take all of the data that lives in BigCommerce and replicate that in WordPress so that you can build your front ends and whatever you want on WordPress, free up the resources on the back end that commerce typically occupy, and continue to scale your business. I'll show you these two sites in a little bit. One of them just went live and the other's going live in the next couple of weeks. And we built this for developers. We wanted to not say, this is the thing, you can't touch it, you can't modify it. No, we built this, it's open source license, you can take our plugin, you can do whatever you want with it, and you can start doing really cool things. So like this example right here is actually building a kiosk, offline kiosk that maps to their online store so that you can start selling at this surf ranch that they have. I'll tell you about that in a little bit too. And then even beyond WordPress, so we don't want you to have to find where our limits are and then have to re-platform, because that's an expensive exercise. It takes time. You take an overall hit and a loss. So with us scaling commerce, you don't have to stop at just WordPress. So this example right here is actually coded completely in React, which is kind of the front end de jure language right now. And all they did was consume our APIs and follow exactly what we had built with the WordPress plugin. And then this one is just, this is, I could show you this after while we're having a beer, but one of our developers over the weekend took the Apple AR kit and connected our APIs to it. And guess what? Now we have augmented reality shopping. And it wasn't something that we had to go develop and invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, sprints, and a year of engineering time. But you can connect this commerce technology to whatever needs to be connected to. So with WordPress specifically, we kind of had three key use cases. One, content sites that started as a blog or whatever and are now adding commerce later in the game. So that scalability issue that you have when it comes to commerce versus the known performant scalability that you can do with just content. Second is the experience-driven side. So you want to make something bespoke. You want to have that online experience that differentiates you from your competitors. We don't want that to be the limiting factor why you didn't choose BigCommerce to run the commerce side of things, when we know that we can play ball up market with you as you grow, but you might have bigger ideas than we can serve today. And then brands going international. So when you start probably around the 1 million in revenue mark, that's when you really, in annual revenue, that's when businesses start to go, maybe this is a full-time thing. How do I grow this? You might look to Amazon or eBay to start selling things. You might want to add, a European site that you can start selling. But we found a lot of that use cases from kind of like the upper end churn from WooCommerce that were coming to our platform we're looking for. And so I'll breeze through these. Like, don't get me wrong, WooCommerce is great. Like, it is so easy to set up. If I have a blog, I can add the plugins, I can have a cart, I can have a checkout. I'm up and running really soon. There's a lot of wide adoption. You can tweak it to do whatever you want. You can extend it how you want, and you can really make it right-sized for the business. But the area that we're looking at has always been the upper end of the market for where people churn off of WooCommerce. And what we were finding is that people weren't necessarily going with another plugin on WordPress. They were literally going to Magento, or if you're doing 10 million in annual revenue, you probably have 3 or 4 developers on staff already. And so they were just going, hey, maybe we'll bring this in-house, we'll do a complete custom build, because some of the issues with scale and risk associated were just not panning out. And so what we've brought is kind of the best of both worlds. So removing the back-end bloat from your WordPress instance so WordPress can do what it does incredibly well, which is scale to soaring heights for site traffic, and taking all the complexities of catalog management at scale. As you start growing into being a bigger business, maybe you have multiple warehouses and you need an ERP connected and a PIM for enterprise resource planning and product information management tools. Because guess what? Your catalog for the US is different from your catalog in Australia, but it's still housed and fulfilled by the same company that you manage your warehouse fulfillments from. So we take all of the 10 years of commerce experience that we have, and we're bringing it now to WordPress, solving for a pain that we didn't really realize existed, and kind of bringing the best of both worlds. So the way it works right now, it's actually quite simple. So I have WP Engine up here. So BigCommerce backend, again, manages your products. Topher puts it best. He said, WordPress is how you present yourself to the world. BigCommerce is how you manage the commerce and fulfillment of the world that you're serving. And so the way we have this working right now is that everything that's in BigCommerce gets piped over via API to WordPress, and that's actually cached as actual posts, so you don't lose any SEO. There's no iframing in or JavaScript after page load that loses the SEO value that is inherent with WordPress. And I was telling a few of you today, the checkout experience today is wildly different than what will be available on Tuesday. So I'll speak to the Tuesday version, which is the checkout will actually be embedded inside of WordPress with an iframe. And we've solved for cross-site analytics too. So you can have your entire shopping experience within WordPress and not know that it's BigCommerce powering that. And then everything from, hey, maybe you've got to upload 20,000 products to your catalog. You no longer have to do that in the WordPress admin. You can do that through API or a spreadsheet upload or whatever system you want from the BigCommerce backend, because like I said, we've got about 10 years of experience doing this, and we've solved for that, both for small and businesses at scale. So I'm gonna just kind of quick go against bad rules of thumb and show you live demos. So this is WP Engine Sandbox that we installed the plugin today on, and this is what you get. So if you're familiar with any other type of plugin-based commerce, you know that you have to come in here, you would add your products here, manage your product pages and everything in here, but right now you can sync this in different intervals. So if you add products every half hour, then you'd obviously choose the 5-minute interval. And if you're a developer, you can actually go in and manually change this to near real time if you'd like. Cart lives right in WordPress, and I should preface all this by saying that when you install the BigCommerce plugin in WordPress, it auto-populates all of these pages. So your cart exists as a page. Accounts and registration exist as a page. And it's not a stretch to say that PCI compliance is no longer an issue. Your WordPress site getting hacked, cool, they could change everything on the front end, but all of your user data and tokenized payment information, that's still stored on BigCommerce. None of that exists in WordPress. So not only does it remove some of the scalability issues, but it solves a lot of the security risks that people face too. And then since it is an iframe for the checkout, we wanted to solve for cross-site analytics, because I haven't talked much about the BigCommerce backend, but the way we're treating this is, so this is BigCommerce backend. This is the demo store that was connected, that is connected. And again, this is a Tuesday thing. So historically, you create a product catalog in BigCommerce, and if you wanted to sell on eBay or sell on Amazon, you could select simple products, send them there, and connect your accounts, and you could have, you know, your own little multi-channel retail operation. What we've done is we've created the Channels API, which on Tuesday will allow me to create my WordPress North America site here, my WordPress Canada, my WordPress Australia site. You can add as many sites as you want, because we don't charge based on the number of storefronts that you have. We just want you to have your commerce operation simplified and solved for at scale. This is kind of the last slide. Right now, we're still in early access developer beta. Next week, we're going to open up our GitHub repo, and it will be the first version of the publicly available beta version of the plugin, and we're going to submit to WordPress.org, so you can download it from there. That's basically all I have. If you're an agency that wants to learn more, hit us up, chat with Jason if you've got some projects in mind. And Karen and Topher put a lot of work into launching our new dev portal. So we've got all of our APIs, webhooks, and documentation for the plugin set. So happy to have you guys ask questions or move on to the next presentation.